Well, hello everybody and welcome to the webinar. We are ready to get started. I am very pleased that all of you have shown up. There are still some people arriving as we go, but we're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to Social to Sales. This is where we're going to talk about five easy steps to go from social media to real sales with your website and your business. That's what we're here today for. The first thing that I want to do is introduce myself. I am Deborah Richmond. I am the owner of TechBuzz Marketing. And just to tell you a little bit about myself, my company is 5 years old. 5 years ago, I was working in a marketing department of an insurance company and I was laid off. So in the span of about 5 minutes, I completely lost my entire income, all of my benefits, and as a single mother, that was a pretty painful day. That day, I decided that that was never going to happen to me again, and so I opened my own business. Now, when I first came out, I started working with marketing consulting, doing some of the traditional marketing that I had been doing with the insurance company. But very quickly, as I spoke to a lot of business owners, I found that everybody, absolutely everybody, was frustrated by social media, heard a lot about it, had no idea what they were really supposed to be doing with it. Nobody felt they really had time to work with it. And so I had been very intrigued with social media at the time, but had not been using it to actually market a business. We had not been using that in the company that I'd been working for back then. So what I did is I started to research like crazy. I immersed myself in social media. I wanted to know, how are people using it, what are they doing, what works and what does not work. And from that day till now, I continue to immerse myself in it. And what I have found is if you know how to use social media, it works. It works very well. But that's the key, is if you know how to use it. There are certain things that do work and certain things that don't. And so I only will teach you things that I have found do work. And there have been many things I've tried that have not. So that's what this whole webinar is about. It is about a real good broad overview of strategy. Because without a good strategy, you're not going to know if your social media is working for you. So just to get us started, some facts about social media. Why are we talking about social media? Why is it still the thing that I work with 5 years later after I've started my business? It's because every year social media gets bigger and bigger and bigger. I would not still be focusing on social media if I thought it were going away anytime soon. So I watch those trends very carefully myself. 800 million people are on Facebook, and that number climbs all the time. It's probably higher today than it was the day the statistic was taken. Over 80% of Americans use social networks. That's a lot of people. It's no longer just for teenagers. 80% of us are using social media. 50% of small business owners have reported gaining new customers through social media, most notably through Facebook and LinkedIn. Those are two networks that I focus on very heavily in all of my training and when I'm working with clients because they are huge, and that's why they work for us. Average income of a LinkedIn user is $89,000. I put this stat in here just to let you know that social media, again, not just about teenagers, not just about kids. This is really everybody's using it now. So here is what I really want to show you today, that there's one thing I want you to really take away from this webinar. It is this. When you're using social media for marketing and you want real sales from social media, it is not a direct line. It is not a one-step process. It is actually 5 steps. Now, these are the 5 steps that I work with, and I have really kind of boiled it down to these 5 steps after all of the testing I've done and all of the things that I see are working for my business. 90% of the marketing I do is through online methods. I don't do advertising. I don't do any of those types of offline methods. I do everything online for my business, so I do know it works. These are the 5 steps, and you're going to see these several times this morning. One thing I do want to let you know is that I will not have a chance to take questions today. However, at the end of the webinar, I'm going to show you my email, and I want you to, which you probably do already have if you were able to get to this webinar, but email me anytime if you have questions. The reason I'm not taking questions today is because we have a limited time, and I want to really give you a good overview. I will not be covering everything extensively. There's a lot to learn in social media, but I'm going to give you these concepts. So any questions, be on that, please let me know. But let's look at the steps real quickly. Number one, we're going to talk about engaging prospects with social media. That is step number one. And that's the one most of you are aware of, that this needs to happen. But the sales don't happen at step number one. We then need to go to step number two, where we bring people to our website. So we're driving prospects to your website and blog. Number three is, once we have them at the website, we want to entice prospects to sign up for our leads list, which is an email list. And we're going to talk about these extensively. And then fourth, we want to nurture that list once people are on our list. And fifth, occasionally, we're going to be offering products and services. And we're going to talk about that, how to do it and how not to do it, because there are some very specific things that work and some specific things that don't work. So let's starting off with step number one is engaging in social media, engaging prospects. This is the step where it begins, where we need to meet people in social media. And what is important to think about is that this type of networking and marketing is very similar to the type you're familiar with already, such as local networking, if you're going to Chamber of Commerce meetings, if you're going to different networking luncheons. It's the same process, but simply put online. So if you think of it that way, it's often easier to kind of grasp what it is you're supposed to be doing. Particularly at step number one, you want to have social media accounts. These are the most common ones that I work with, and they are the most common because they are the most popular. And we want to be the places where lots of customers are. So these are the places. Which of these different sites would be for your company? It's different from company to company. I can just give you really quickly. If you are selling products and services to consumers, you definitely want to be on Facebook. If you are selling products and services to businesses, you definitely want to be on LinkedIn. If you have time, I highly recommend that you're on several social media networks, but start somewhere. So often those two, one of those two is usually a really good place for most people to get started. So just kind of give you a rule of thumb. But once you've signed up and you've gotten some accounts, your profiles are built and you're ready to get going, now it's time to start bringing people to your social media accounts. This can be somewhat of a tricky thing to do at first. If any of you have a Facebook page already and you're having a difficult time getting people to like your page, that's common at first. It takes a little while to get that going. There's a lot of things you'll want to do offline to encourage people to come to your online places. And you'll recognize this as you go, out and about in your day. You'll see different businesses will have signs at their stores that say, "Join us on Facebook." And that's because they know they need to get your attention, bring you to their online place. And so then once you start getting people there, now it's time to engage with people regularly. When you're on social media, it's really important to know that this is not the place you're selling. Just like when you go to a Chamber of Commerce meeting, you don't start selling the minute you meet someone. If somebody comes up to you and immediately you don't know who they are, they hand you a brochure, they hand you their card, and they start telling you about your product, you're really turned off. It's not the appropriate time or way to do it. That's the same thing as in social media. This is not the time and place to really do selling of your products directly. It's a place to talk about things in your industry. It's a place to talk with your prospects about things that your customers are interested in, but no direct selling there. Because this is only step one, and it takes all 5 steps to get people to actually go from social media to a direct sale. So step number one, you're going to see this quite a bit. That's step number one, is getting on social media, getting people started, start to meet people, start to get to know people. People are not going to buy from you until they know you, they like you, and they trust you. Social media is all about starting those relationships and kind of nurturing them there. The next step is we want to now drive people to our website. As opposed to social media, our website is the place where we sell. That is our storefront online. So that's the place where it is appropriate to talk all about our products and all about our specials and all about our services. That's the place to sell. So that's why we want to move people from social media, get them interested in some information on our website. So let's talk about how do you do that. I highly recommend that every business have a blog. Now, a blog is not for everybody, and you often need to really think about that for a little while as far as how to put a blog together, how to keep one going. But if you're thinking of starting a blog on your website, you should definitely do it. A blog is simply a place on your website where you put up short articles on a regular basis. I put up new articles once a week. And these don't have to be long. They can be very short because people don't read volumes and volumes. They like to skim and scan when online. But what it does is it gives me the opportunity on my website to have new, fresh information all of the time. And what that does is it allows me to now go out and promote my website and bring people to it. If I didn't have a blog on there and I came out and said, hey, visit my website, I have information on social media, you would visit once, you would see what's there, and then you wouldn't come back again because there's nothing new. You've already seen it. Now, the first time I bring you to my website, you may not be ready to buy any products or services. So that's why it's important that that first time is not the time when a sale is usually made. I want to bring you back to my website several times, and this is what your goal will be. A blog makes that very much easier to do. It gives you good reasons to go out and say to people, hey, I've written a new article, come on in and see what I have written and see if it's of interest to you. So you'll be writing blog articles, you'll be putting new articles onto your website, and then occasionally you're going to offer content on social media with links back. That's how you drive traffic. So let me show you what that looks like. This is a LinkedIn account, and what you can see, what I'm showing you here is that there's a person named Pete Zafra who has written an article, and he has put it onto LinkedIn for all of his connections to see. And so what you see is the title of the article, and it is in blue. When you click this, it actually goes right to his website. Now that's really important, but let me just show you first. You have the title, you have the website that it's from, and then you have the first couple sentences of the article. Just enough to get you interested in the article. Is it something I'd like to read more? If the answer is yes, I'm going to click this and I'm going to go to his website. Now this type of function on social media is very easy to do. It's usually a matter of just cutting and pasting the address of your article into LinkedIn, into Facebook. Now, as we go along, if you have lots and lots of questions and we're going what you think is too fast for you, I want you to know that at the end of this, I'm going to be giving you some resources for more information and for more in-depth, step-by-step types of things that you can take advantage of to learn how to do these things. I just want to show you the basics right now so we can get through this entire process of the 5 steps to this marketing funnel. But this is what it looks like. When you're on social media, you will see people putting these here. You will see these articles. They are either sharing articles to their own website or they're sharing articles from other websites. For this particular funnel, this is the time to share the articles that are on your website. And so I will write a new blog post, I'll put it onto my blog on my website, then I'm going to go over to LinkedIn and Facebook and the other social media places and I'm going to put this little preview there, and then now when people see it, they will click here and they will go over to my website. That way I'm driving traffic to the site. And you'll be able to see, if you're able to see the traffic that's coming to your website, if you have Google Analytics installed or if your web designer is able to report to you, this is the time when you'll see spikes in that amount of traffic. You'll see that it's working because you'll see the numbers go up on the days that you post these articles out to social media. Okay, so that is step number 2. That is driving traffic to your website. So step number 1, we got to know people. We just start to chit-chat. Step number 2, we bring them to our website for something interesting to them. Now what do we do with them? What we want to do now is we want to entice prospects to sign up for our leads list. Now this is a very important step, and many of you will really need to start working on this step pretty soon. And that is because this is the step where we get people to sign up for an email list. Now if you don't have an email list, you've at least seen them on other websites. You've probably signed up for several and you receive emails from different businesses. And this is what I'm talking about when I say that the leads list, it is an email list. So on a website, in order to put a form that builds an email list for your company, you'll want to use a software program such as Constant Contact. MailChimp is another one. Aweber is my favorite. Email list manager, and what it does is it allows you to have a form on your website where people put in their name and their email address. It goes automatically onto a list over at your Aweber account, and that list now you can set it up so that you can automatically start emailing these people. Much of this list is automated. That's what's really nice about these these email management softwares. It's because a lot of it is automated. You can set things up and it kind of cooks and keeps cooking on itself, by itself, which is a real time saver for most of us who don't have time to sit and manage that list ourselves. But what you'll do is you'll want to make sure your website has an opt-in list for people to sign up for your email list. If you do not have that, you need to start working on that. Without that piece, you will not be able to make sales through social media because you'll be missing one of these steps. Each step in this process has to happen. Each step is you cannot get to the next stepping stone without going to the one before it. So super, super important that you have this. So once you have that set up and you have an email list manager, now what you need to do is you need to try to encourage people to sign up. It used to be that if just by having a list on your site, people would sign up. And then it would be just by saying, you know, receive a free newsletter, people would sign up. Now it's become, it has evolved, and it's a little more difficult for people to sign up. You need to offer something different. And what you need to offer is a free incentive. So this can be a free report, it can be a free ebook, a free guide, checklist, a video, something that is very important, valuable to your prospects. So to give you an example, on my website, the incentive that I have on my website is called, it's my ebook, and it's called Pump Up Your Profits with Social Media. Now many of you may have already downloaded this. It is completely free. However, it is an ebook that when I first wrote the ebook, the intention was that I was going to sell this as a product. It does have value. I could sell it for as one of my products. But I decided to use that particular product and make that the incentive that I would build my list with. Now, it's really important. Two things are really important with this incentive. One, it needs to be digital. You need to be able to deliver this digitally, so you don't want to give away anything that is physical. You don't want to have to mail anything through the mail, because this will be something you will not be able to keep up with, and it will create a lot of work for you. And our goal with this whole process is to keep as much of it automated as we can. And so that's why it needs to be a PDF document, whether that's a several-page report or a 2-page checklist. It can be a video, doesn't have to be anything long, just has to be of value. And when you're thinking about the value, you have to think about your audience. What is it they're really looking for? What's the information they would pay money for? And so that's why mine is an ebook on using social media, because that's exactly the thing people are coming to me for. And so I want to make sure I'm giving them exactly what they want. You start with that. You want it to be valuable so that people will sign up for that email list. Because if you cannot get them on an email list, what happens is people will come to your website once. They'll see what you have, but they're probably not ready to buy. Almost no one, I should say, is ready to buy the first time they come to your website. The same as when you first go to a website, you're usually not quite ready to buy. We do a lot of research before we buy anything. We do a lot of looking around and studying before we buy anything. And so we need a way, when visitors are coming to our sites, we need a way to be able to keep in touch with them. We know they're interested, so that's a really good person that we want to be able to stay in contact with. That's why giving them something that's valuable is worth it to us, because then we have their email address. We can now speak to them on a regular basis whenever we would like to. And that's what's super important. That's why without this step, you won't be able to really complete your process to a sale. And I said the list management system automates the whole process. You probably have been on email lists before where it has the message at the bottom that says if you would no longer like to receive these emails, you can unsubscribe here, and you click the button and it unsubscribes. That is something that's all set up in these list managers. I did not have to set up this whole process. I did not have to hire a developer to put all these things together. I simply signed up for Aweber, went through their simple instructions on how to set these things up, and it happens for me. So what that gives me is an email list that keeps itself up to date. Now, if any of you have an email list already with your business, if you've been in business for a while and you have a list that you've been building for several years, you know the problems that happen when people change their email addresses and when people are really no longer interested in what you have to offer, but they're still on your list. You really won't know that. You won't know how many people are still interested. You also will end up, every time you email, you get a lot of things bounced back to you that you have to then deal with in your email process. And it's very time consuming and it's very inefficient. This becomes a way that all of that is eliminated. People put themselves on the list when they're interested, and they take themselves off the list when they're no longer interested. Each of these managers also have a feature that if an email, they try to deliver an email for us, and if that email is no longer active, it will bounce back. The program will keep track of which ones bounced. It will tell you which ones have bounced, and most of the email managers will have a function where they will take those bounces off automatically, so that when I email today, if I have several that bounce back, they'll say, here are the ones that bounce back, and we'll be taking them out of your list. And that is what we want. We want them to, yes, take those out because those are dead emails. That's why so many of these processes are done for us, are automated. This email list can become a real valuable asset to your company because it's not just a long list of names you've been building for 10 years, 90% of which are no longer interested. It's a real targeted list. People put themselves on it because they were interested, and they've stayed on it because they're still interested. So that's why this email list is so, so important. Now let's show you real quick. Just to kind of reinforce this again as far as the incentive, because I know a lot of you still kind of have questions about this. I'm showing you a page. Is this a web page of a company that's called WebSphere Software? And all I want you to see on this page is I want to show you that this graphic in the middle of the page, this is the place where they are right as soon as you hit their page, it says download white paper here. And their white paper is comparing IBM WebSphere and Oracle WebLogic. Now, do I know what that means? Not really. It's a couple different pieces of software I'm not familiar with. But what they know about their customers is their company is the IBM WebSphere. That's their software. They know people thinking about buying their software are comparing it to another software from another company called Oracle WebLogic. So they know their customers this is probably their main competitor. They know their customers are comparing these two, so they're going to help them by offering a white paper. So this white paper is probably a very thorough, goes through all the features of the two and will compare them, because any software company wants to show you, here's why we are better than the competition. So if I'm looking at these two softwares, yes, I want to read this particular white paper, and I want to see what do they have to say, why do they say they're better. So also, this type of software takes a lot of analysis in order to make a sale. Their sales cycle is longer. They know they have to educate people for quite a while before they're ready to make a sale. So with this particular white paper, they've hit a couple of, two birds, one stone. They have hit, number one, people who are interested are now on their email list, even though these people have not made a decision yet. Number two, they're having the opportunity to now give them more information and convince them, here's why you should buy our product. And so this is very valuable to the company because, number one, they now get to talk to you again, and they get to tell you right now, right up front, here's some good information why you want our product. They also now will get to talk to you on a regular basis and continue to send you more information about their product. So this is what it looks like. When you're putting something on your website, you should make sure that it's high on the page, because one of the biggest functions of your website will be getting people to sign up for this email list. And don't make the mistake of burying a form for people to sign up. Don't make the mistake of burying that on several pages into your website. You want it right on top, right up front. One of the first things people will see when they go to your website, because it's the thing you need people to do in order to take them to the next step. Yes, they can find a map if they're trying to come to your business. They will find that. Yes, they can find more information about you on the About page. Yes, they will find those things. But you really want them on this email list. So make sure you put it high on that front page. Okay, so let's move on. Going back to our steps. So we just talked about meeting people on social media, bringing them to our website, getting them to sign up for that email list, and now we're on to step number 4, which is nurturing that list. So we have people on the list. They've said today they're interested in more information, they're interested in what we have, and so today we know they're interested. Now it's our job to continue to touch base with them, giving them more good information that will keep us on their radar about so that when they're ready to buy, they think of us. That is the goal of nurturing your email list. Because the first time someone comes to my website, they are not ready to buy yet. But they sign up for my email list, and then I start to send weekly emails that are talking about good information about social media. I'm not selling in every one of those. I'm sending good information, and then when they're ready to buy, and it's usually not right away, but when they're ready to buy, they know exactly where to find me because they know I'm going to keep showing up in their email. So let's talk about that a little bit. Okay, so nurturing the list is simply sending regular emails with good information. You want to decide on an interval. So for my business, I have decided that once a week I want to come to these people who have signed up and are interested in social media marketing. I want to come to them, and each week I bring more information. It's very important that I come to them every single week. Now let me tell you that may sound like a lot of work to you, and let me tell you the secret. It goes again back to that email list manager. Each one of those, and I use Aweber, has a function that they call autoresponders. This is a place where I can set up a series of emails. I can put in, let's say I start with 6. I want 6 emails, and these are the first 6 emails I want people to see when they sign up for my list. So I will have email number 1. I can set it up so that Aweber will send email number 1 right away once they sign up for the list. Then I set it up so that email number 2, they will receive that 7 days later. And then email number 3, they will receive 7 days after that. And we go on and on and on. And you can have as many emails in this series as you want. My goal is to have, honestly, to have 2 or 3 years worth of emails into this process. Now, do I have that many yet? No, but I have a lot. What's really nice is that with using these email managers, number 1, they get sent automatically, but number 2, people will always start with email number 1 so that I can set it up. I know when people are starting to investigate social media, I know the processes they're going through because I've had a lot of contact with customers who've purchased training from me. I know where they are in the process, and so I can give them emails that are specifically pointed to where they are. So some of the first emails are going to be talking about which social media accounts should you be creating, which ones are right for your business. Those types of things will show up early. And then each week going through, we'll continue down this path. But the fact that I can start everybody on number 1 means that I can be very specific about what I am writing in this series of emails and know that when I write this email once, it is going to be used over and over and over, but I'm only writing it once. So to let you know, I have about 6,000 people who've signed up for my email list over the years, and they all start with number 1. So that first email I wrote has been seen by over 6,000 people. I didn't write it 6,000 times, I wrote it once. That's the beauty. And then each one after that gets seen by people as long as they stay on my list. So a couple things to know. You want to provide information that your target audience can use. I'm not sending information each time about my products. And for those of us who've been in business for a while, that may be a hard habit to break. So don't, I want you to think about this. If that's one of your first reactions is I want to get information in their hands about each of my products. You will be able to, but you don't want to do it right away, because in this type of a funnel, it's important that people talk to us, that we talk to them for a while first and give them good information so that they know that they can trust us. They learn a little more about us and know what our expertise is. They know if they get to know a little bit more about our industry in general before we start telling them about products. So these are the types of things that you want to think of sending in your email list. You want to send people tips, short articles, and they can be very short articles, how-to information, educational information. I send a combination of all of these things to my email list. I also send YouTube videos, emails that have a link to YouTube videos with very specific things in them that are how-to. And so this is because I know that there's different people in my list, but roughly everybody's kind of like thinking of the same things. I can now keep giving them good information, and I'm giving away good free information. In this type of funnel, giving away good information, it works to your benefit. Don't be afraid to give away your secrets, because I can tell you how it works in my instance is that I will be able to give away lots of my secrets. Here's how you do this. Here's how you do that. And some of the people on my list will be able to take that information and run with it. Just like you today. Many of you will be able to take the information we've talked about today and start implementing it right away. Many people are not quite ready. They want to hear the concepts, they want to know what needs to happen, but they are not ready yet to implement them themselves. For those people, I have training products, and I have coaching products, and I also have managed products where I will do some of these, my team will do some of these processes for them. But they would never get down to the point where they're looking at my products if they didn't learn the pieces from me before. And by letting them know the good information and giving it away freely, it convinces them that I'm the person that, yes, they want to buy from. So if you think about that, this point was really brought home to me when I first started learning it by the fact that I needed to have new brakes on my car. And I am not a car person. I don't know. I don't do any of those things. I don't change my own oil. I put air in my tires. That's about it. I needed new brakes, and I saw a YouTube video that showed me how you change brakes. Now, was I ever going to change brakes? No, I was not. But I was looking for a garage in town to take my car to, and I really didn't have one in mind. They had a video. They showed a car up on a lift. A mechanic was showing exactly, here's how you change brakes. And I thought that was really cool, number one. It gave me some education because I had no idea how you do those things, but also it showed me too, oh, this person knows what they're doing. And it gave me a few minutes to watch this video to learn who they were. This now technician, I was familiar with who he was. He obviously knew his stuff and showed step by step as he changed the brakes. And I went to that garage to have my brakes done. So that's how it works. So some people may say, if you're an auto shop, well, why do I want to show people how to change brakes? They won't come to me to do it. Yes, they will still come to you. Even when you give away the secrets, they will still come to you because you've proven that you know what you're doing. So the last point on this page is to don't send blatant marketing collateral. So like I said, don't send the brochures. Don't just send people back to your website where you're showing each product page. You're not going to capture people's interest. They're just going to delete your email and probably will not open the next one. You want to really bring people in and let them know there's good information here so that they will keep opening your emails, and that's super important. You're receiving this webinar for free, and the reason that I do this, this is a webinar that I can actually sell, and I do present this, I do get paid to present this particular webinar to businesses. But this is free because it's my way of thanking you of being on my email list, because you have been on my email list for a while. Some of you have been on for a very long while. And this is something that I want to give you so that you will keep opening my emails. So I give you this good information, and then you do keep opening my emails. And that's what it's all about. And so let me take this opportunity to thank you very much for opening my emails. I do very much appreciate it. So looking again at this particular process, we are now down to the last step. We have I'm going to go through it again, and I apologize for repetition, but I found that it's important. Meet people at social media, drive them to your website, get them on your email list, nurture that list, which is what we just talked about. Now it's time to occasionally offer products and services. Here's a mix of what I try to keep in mind, and it's a good rule of thumb. For every 5 times you come to your audience, 4 of those times should just be good information. If you keep that mix, and that's giving away a lot of good information before you're talking about a product, and we're not always used to that, but in this particular situation, if you keep that in mind and you start with giving good information, and then every 5th time giving information about how, a sale or a new product or, different discounts you have, that's a good mix to have, because that 5th time people will see it and they'll listen to it. The first 4 times they've kept opening those emails knowing that, hey, more information, more good information. And the 5th time is information about a product. People are happy to hear about your products because they know we're here to make business. Happy to hear about your products as long as they're still getting good information. There's still a reason for them to open your emails. So this is what I've tested several different ways, and this is what I have found works very well and is very similar for many of the clients that I've worked with as well. So we want to make sure they keep opening our emails. Now let me tell you something that was quite a surprise to me the first time I saw this happen. I have people who've been on my email list. I have some people who are on my email list for about 2 weeks and then they unsubscribe. I have people who've been on my email list for over 4 years. They've been on since the day they started, and they started on my list early on when my business opened. That's amazing to me. Now, normally we'd think, well, why do you want to have someone on that long? They obviously aren't buying. They're just on there for the free information, right? Truth of the matter is, people are often on my list for several months before they buy. The first time I saw someone who bought from, called and inquired about a product and purchased, and I always go back to see how long were they on my email list. They were on for over a year. I was floored. But what it was is it was someone who knew that they were going to need to be doing some training for the people in their company, but they knew it was going to be in their yearly plan. It was going to be several months down the road. And so they started investigating it. When they first learned they would be giving this needing to give this training, and then they stayed on my email list through those several months, and when it was time for them to start really putting a program together, that's when they called and inquired. So people are on for a very long time. When I first started this process, I would have guessed that people after 2 or 3 months would just not be interested anymore and wouldn't buy. Pleasantly surprised to find out in some cases that's true. In some cases people are on for much, much longer. It really is a matter of, we don't know the buying cycle of the people coming to our website who are checking things out. Think about how you use the internet. I know if I have a purchase, sometimes I am investigating it months before I need it. Sometimes I'm investigating it and I need to buy something this week. Just depends on the product, just depends on where I'm at in the cycle. Because you can't always predict this type of a marketing system allows us to cover both of those ends. People who are ready right now, we'll be able to get to them because they've come to us, and then people who aren't going to be ready for a really long time. It's not extra work for me to keep those people on my list. It's exactly the same amount of work that I'm putting into everybody on my list. They're receiving the same things. They're just farther ahead in the process than some of the other people on my list. And so they, have proven that some of them wait a very long time before they're ready. So learning this, now learning this and knowing this, I'm happy to see people who've been on my list for a very long time. I don't need to give up on them. They are still possibly prospects and still might possibly be interested in information. And so that's really that was a really good, pleasant surprise for me to see that and know that it's still working. It's still, even several months people have been on, I'm still giving them value. They may not read every email, but they're keeping me around for a reason. And they know what the reason is. I don't know yet until they contact me. So this is when if I hadn't been continuing to send emails, that particular buyer would have maybe received a few at the beginning, maybe 6 weeks at the beginning, and if I had stopped there, 12 months later, when she was ready to purchase, she wouldn't remember me. She would have probably investigated she probably did investigate many of other training products, other consultants, and she would not have remembered me. But because I was there very consistently, she did remember me. So that really is kind of, in a nutshell, the reason why you want to keep this process started and keep it going. This is a process that is meant to be not only short-term but for very long-term. This is something you're going to build for your company and keep it running, and as it grows, every month that goes by, it becomes more and more valuable, as long as you just kind of keep this process running. And so again, what is the process that we're running? I'll use my business as an example. I go regularly on social media and I'm talking to people and I'm meeting new people. I regularly am writing blog posts and putting them onto social media so I can bring people back to my website. I am regularly working on I have the information there on my website for people to sign up for, so that stays on there all the time. And then what you can do is every few months you can change that particular e-product. But if it's something that people keep signing up for, keep it right there. Keep that piece. For me, it's the ebook right now, the Pump Up Your Profits with Social Media. I'm going to keep it right there. But that stays all the time on my website. And then I continue on a regular basis to nurture my leads list by writing new emails and also offering things such as this particular webinar that are interesting to my audience. I do this on a regular basis. And then 5, I do very regularly offer products and services. So if you've been on my list for a while, then you have seen there are times when I will have a new product that I will offer, or a product that I've offered, again, because it was very popular the last time. So you'll see that, but you don't see it even every month. You see it roughly. I'm on a schedule right now where I really only offer those particular products like once every 2 months. Again, trying not to flood people with the products, because I know what you really came for is the information to begin with. And then once you buy a product, very often I have people who will then buy more products. And so this is a system that you set up, you do keep running. It doesn't take a lot of time to run it. You know, if you have a team, if you have people who are going to help you with this process, you basically need someone who is monitoring social media just a few minutes a day. It really is just a few minutes. You need someone who's writing a blog post. For me, I write my own blog posts, and that is about an hour a week. You know, definitely worth it for me to market. Sometimes I'll sit down and I'll write several articles for half a day, and then I have a few that are ready to put into the blog ahead of time. And then this particular step does not take constant time, because that list, once you put it in place, it's working. Setting up the email list doesn't take me very long. I will add new emails to that process about once every 2 weeks. So once I started with First 6, I would then every 2 weeks add another one, so that if you started 6 weeks after, you know, then there was another one coming out and another one coming out every couple of weeks. So that's not a big time, commitment either. So This is why this system works. I know that everyone's busy. I know that you need to automate as much as you can, and much of this system is automated. It takes minimal time from you. I did tell you that I want to now show you some resources that are available, because if you very likely now have looked at this list and you probably have pinpointed some areas in your own system that maybe you're doing pretty well and some areas that maybe you're missing. And so let's get to that. I have two different resources to talk about, and one of them is for those of you who have more budget and less time. You really need to get this jump started and not waste a lot of time doing it. And then I have a product that is if you have more time and really are on a shoestring, so more time and less money, then there's another product I have available for you. So let's start with the first group, those of you who have more budget and less time. This is something that I'm offering right now. I have some spaces that are available today. This is one-on-one coaching. There are a limited number that I'm able to sign up today, so if this is something you're interested in, you're going to want to go ahead and look at it. I'm going to give you some information, but do know that this address down here is going to give you more information on about the product, about this particular coaching. So if you go to gotechbuzz.com/coach, there's a lot of information, but let me just tell you who this is perfect for. The one-on-one coaching is simply, I meet with you in a session of 6 different times. We start with a kickoff meeting, and it's usually by telephone, where we go over your business, we go over what your goals are, what you're trying to accomplish. We look at what marketing you have, and then we start looking at this process and see where do you need to start. What are the most important things for you to set up and get moving first? And then I help you each week move through that process. So by the end of 6 weeks, we're able to take wherever your starting point is, find out what that is, and move you forward. We actually usually spread it over the course of 6 to 12 weeks. Some people want a little more time, because each time I'll be giving you the tasks that need to happen before the next meeting, keeping you on track, keeping things moving, keeping you accountable. All very important, and all of those are the things that my coaching clients love. And I have to say, I absolutely love one-on-one coaching, because it's just super fun for me to be able to hear about your business and really, think about it as though it were my own business, and then tell you, here's what I would do, and here's exactly the steps I would take in order. So this is perfect for you if you don't have a strong social media strategy yet. This would be a very good system coaching opportunity for you to take advantage of. If you've started using some of the social media but you're not really confident about how you're using them, not sure they're making a difference, the coaching is a good place for you to start to get organized and moving in the right direction. If you're not seeing the results you were hoping for with social media, maybe you've gotten it started and you're kind of doing the things that you've been learning about that you don't seem to be getting those results, this is a good coaching process to go through, because it's going to, I'll be able to help you really see what you should be looking for and show you where it's working and where it's not. I'll be able to look and be able to tell you pretty quickly what those things are. If you want to fast track the learning curve, if this is something that you want to get started on and you don't want to have to take the time to organize it yourself and figure out which pieces are most important first, this is a good program for you to take advantage of. So take a look at that. It's at gotechbuzz.com/coach. And then the next item that I want to talk about is for those of you who have more time, less budget. This is something that I've worked very hard to create this program, because it was clear to me when I first started teaching social media that there were going to be businesses that I really wanted to help them, but they were not able to afford a consultant and the consulting fees. They were starting up. They were a shoestring, and they needed to do it as inexpensively as possible. And I had all this great information. I wanted to get it to you, couldn't figure out how. It took me really several months to develop this club, and it is a marketing club. What this is, My Social Marketing Club, is a website that when you join, members have access to dozens and dozens of different pieces of information and tutorials and training that I have created over the years. Every single one of my products that I do offer are in this membership site. It is a really, I've designed it so it's a super duper good value, because this is the type of thing when I start learning, this is the type of system that I used to learn some of the, programming that I do, and it worked very well. So because I needed to learn some things very quickly, but I needed to do it on a very small budget. This type of a site was perfect for me, and so I've developed it for those of you who are learning social media marketing. There are dozens of online tutorials, and by that what I mean is you'll go in and there'll be the products I have: Facebook 101, Twitter 101, LinkedIn 101, B2B marketing, social media marketing. All of those products are in there. They are video training courses where I show you step by step on my screen where to click to set up your sites, what should be on your sites. So for instance, LinkedIn has an extensive profile section. What should be in that profile section? Click by click, I show you where things are and how to find the pieces that are most important to you as a marketer. There are step-by-step instructions on other things, such as people who have they're on Facebook already, they don't need help with the setup, but now they're having trouble getting people to like the page, and they don't know how to go about that. There are some videos on several ideas on how to make that happen. There are also podcasts. I have a series of, I believe it's 25 podcasts, which are audio programs. You click on it and you will listen to an audio program where I'm talking about lots of different strategy, and those are nice things to sit and listen to in the background as you're doing some maybe small things at your desk that will allow you to just kind of absorb some more of these concepts if that's what you are struggling with, is some of the how do these pieces fit together. There's no need to pay a web designer. If you are really a startup and don't even have a website yet, there is a tutorial that you have available that I've created on how to create your own website, WordPress website. That is how I created my own website, and it took me months to learn how to do it. And I did take the time to learn by collecting information everywhere I could. I've now been able to boil that down into a program that does not take you months. You can have a full site set up in a few hours. You can have a site set up, and I'll show you exactly what you need to know, click by click, what host to use, which I found is the best, how to get WordPress on there, the easiest ways to do these things. That's there. You don't need to pay huge dollars for this program. The address at the bottom, you can go take a look. It's going to give you a lot of more information about this club, but it's also going to give you pricing. So go take a look at it. There's a money-back guarantee, so this is not something that's a big risk. All of my products, including the coaching, I have a money-back guarantee. And this, hang on a second, what happened? Okay, this one, there's no need to pay huge dollars. I've seen this exact same information in a program that you can purchase from other marketing consultants that was $2,000. No kidding. Same thing. No kidding. And I just think that's outrageous. And it may be good for people who just need something and they don't see this, but this is an alternative to those programs. It's the same information. Why is it offered so inexpensively through me? Because one of the goals, one of the purposes of my business and what makes my business such a good fit for me is that it helps me. One of the things that I really want to do in my business is I want to help small businesses learn this stuff and take advantage of it. Even if you're not 17 and grew up with this stuff, I want you to be able to learn it, see the value, know which things to use, and start making a difference. When I was laid off, it came to my attention the number of people who were starting their own businesses because they needed to, just like me. They'd been laid off. They needed a reason, they needed an alternative to what they'd been doing, and they needed it fast. So many people started their own businesses. I do believe that the economy of our country is really built on small businesses. I have seen, myself included, I've been able to grow a business, then I'm able to support my family. No one ever again is going to be able to lay me off because I have built something that is not as low security as having a job was. If I could still have that job, I'd still be in it. That chapter, that's as they say, that ship has sailed. But I'm really committed to, I feel very strongly about people like myself who really want to start something, build something of their own to help support themselves, their families, and that it be something that for many people, starting their own business is freedom, because many of us are starting our business because we do not, again, want to be in a corporation setting, or that we no longer fit in a corporation setting. So that's why this is so inexpensive, to kind of put it in a nutshell, is I've kept this to be super affordable so that a person who is like I was 5 years ago could use this and really just explode. Take this information, put it into use, and start pumping up the profits of your business. So that's why it is so inexpensive. I have had that question before, so go take a look at it. Now, this last piece here on the page tells you email support. For those of you who sign up today, in the next 24 hours, you will get free email support. And what that means is that I'm not able to offer free email support to absolutely everybody who's in the program, but today there's a certain number I'm able to do that to. So sign up today, and what happens is you'll be able to email me with any question you have, and I and my team will make it a priority to get back to you as soon as possible. And I know this is important because sometimes some of you have some problems with, for instance, I have people who come to me and they have 2 Facebook accounts and they don't know how they got there, they don't know how to get rid of them, and it's causing a problem. They don't know which one to use. And so sometimes you'll need a little bit of email support for some unusual situations that you might have, such as that. And so you can email me and say, here's where I'm stuck, and then I can quickly create a short video to show you here's what you need to do next to sort it out, that sort of thing. Or you may be someone who has several different businesses and you're trying to figure out, do I use my social media accounts for several, or do I use a different account for each type of business that I have? I've had people who had 2 to 3 businesses. Not uncommon these days. So those types of questions are very specific. So this way I can give some of you some really customized attention, and which I love to do. I wish I could give everybody this kind of customized attention because it's fun for me. But for the sake of running my business, I do have, unfortunately, only 24 hours in a day that I have to be very specific on how I use them, as do you. I know you know what I'm talking about. So for today, the next 24 hours, I have a limited number. I'm going to try to take on everybody in the next 24 hours I can, and I will be able to email you quickly and let you know if you are one of those people. But I'm pretty sure you sign up today, you're going to be on that list, and I'm really looking forward to hearing about your business and helping you out. One of the things I really try to do with everybody I work with, whether it's through email support or through coaching or the clients I take on and work with more closely for a long-term basis, is that it's really fun for me to look at your business and think about it as though it were my own. It's the fastest way for me to say, all right, if I were running your business, this is what I would do exactly. And so it's able for me to show you, here's the fastest way I think you can move forward with these types of strategies. I absolutely love that process, and so I'm really looking forward to working with those of you who are signing up today because it's truly, truly an honor for me to be able to do it. You know, they say you should take, when you're building a business, you should take the tasks that you really love and keep those, and you should outsource the tasks you don't love so much. So for me, I outsource things like my bookkeeping, not the things I love so much, but I love anytime that I can work one-on-one and very closely with those of you who are out there moving your own businesses forward, or whether you are a manager in a company and then you've been tasked with this specific portion, whether you are a marketing director and you know your company needs some help with some of these things and getting more organized. I absolutely love that one-on-one work. So I do look forward to working with you. Again, any questions at all about these programs? My Social Marketing Club is the membership site. And then let me go back, and the gotechbuzz.com/coach is the coaching program. both of them, like I said, they do have a money-back guarantee for the one-on-one coaching. If we meet the first time and once we've met, you don't think that this is going to be a good fit for you, let me know. I will refund your money completely. Not a problem. I want that when we work together, I want to know it's a good fit for you and for me. I will also tell you if I don't think I can help you, but that's really never happened. Everybody who's come to me knows that they've got some things they need help with, and I'm able to help them. But that's definitely part of that first assessment, is you and I both get to decide, is this a fit to move forward? And if it's not, I am happy to refund your money. Same thing with my social marketing club. There is a money back guarantee on that, so that if you, for the first month, if you are in there and you just don't see that it's going to be a benefit to you for whatever reason, just let me know that. If I've had people who joined the club and then suddenly they had a large life crisis in their personal life that they knew they were not going to be able to be putting time into their business for a few weeks, and so that they simply emailed me and let me know that, and I'm happy to refund your money. Also, my social marketing club is a month-by-month membership, so that you can stay in for 1 month and grab as much information and race through as much as you can for that 1 month fee, or you can stay in for several months if you know you need some time to absorb and to move through at a more steady pace. It's completely customizable to you, and again, I worked very hard for that to be the case, because every business has a different situation and a different need. So for those of you who need some time to really, you don't have a whole Saturday that you can put towards social media, that you maybe need to spend 2 or 3 hours each week, or then you can do that over several weeks or several months. There's no limit. There's no number you have to sign up for. There's not a contract of a certain number. You simply stay in until you are finished with the information, and then you can email me and I will simply discontinue the subscription. My goal and my job is to make sure I'm always putting in good new information in there, so you stay in as long as forever would be my choice, because I want you to love the information that's in there, and I'm always adding new information in there all the time, so that social media changes all the time. So all the new stuff that I'm gathering, all the new stuff that I'm seeing is going to be has been really effective in testing. I put it in there and I update constantly. So this is, my goal is to make this a membership site that you can stay in for a very, very long time and still get benefit from it every single week. So I'm always adding YouTube videos, and I'm adding other webinars that I've given, I will put in there as well, and other paid products as they come up and as I create them, putting in there as well. From everything I learn, every time I'm working with clients, I'm learning new needs that certain types of clients have. I'm also learning new stumbling blocks people are coming across, because social media does change all the time, and so these are all things that I focus on when I'm adding new information to the membership site. So I will not take any more of your time today. I thank you so much for joining me. If you have not downloaded the free ebook, this last screen tells you how you can. You simply go to techbuzz.com. There is a sign-up sheet on the right side of the page, a sign-up form that says Pump Up Your Profits with Social Media. Number one, it'll show you what an AWeber form looks like. It's very simple but very eye-catching. And also, you can, if you have not downloaded this book yet, you can go through, download, and you can actually watch the process happen, much of what we've talked about today as far as how the email list managers behave from the user end. And so that's a good process to go through. And this ebook is designed to be good for people who are learning the basics of social media, kind of thinking about the concepts, how it works. So many of you who are interested in today's webinar, that would be a good thing for you to read as well if you have not done so already. So thank you all so much for joining me. I absolutely love doing webinars, and so I want to thank you for joining me. We've had people from all over the world who have joined us today, so thank you to those of you who have come in very strange time zones that are very opposite from mine. Thank you for joining us and making that special effort. And for those of you who are listening to this in the recording, Thank you as well. I'm very dedicated to offering a recording each time because I know many of you are not in my time zone, or this was not a convenient time for you, and yet I still want you to be able to have this information as well as a thank you for being on my email list and opening my emails. So with that, I want to say goodbye to everybody and hope you have a good day.